Hi, YouTube. Excuse me. Um, I have some pretty heavy things on my mind today. I'm going to try and not be vague and try and make some sense out of this for a couple questions that I was asked. Um, why would I bring my kids around an environment that was unhealthy for them? I didn't entirely know that it wasn't. Um, for my kids being attacked um, by the craft intentionally and already being beyond repair of what normalcy would be with misplaced sexuality and different things that have happened to my kids by adults. And when I came back to Minnesota from Wyoming, I got stuck in Wyoming. Um, Long story, coming from Arizona. And my intention was to go to Montana or Minnesota because I had lived in both places before. So, anyway, I ended up in Wyoming for a while. And at that point, um, my relationship with the father of my sons was undescribable. I had made up my mind at that time that even though I knew the head of the dark cabal that had already always had me in their sights was in Minnesota, I decided at that time that I was going to go on the attack with these people. No longer was I going to let another generation of kids go into life vaguely and not understand their position, good or bad, whatever whatever that looked like. After that, I decided to become the warrior for everybody else that this world needed to pinpoint all that. So um I could feel his essence around, and my ex and Doug knew each other. um Doug just showed up at a house that I was working on. It just happened to be a mutual friend. After I kicked my ex out, he came to my house, said he was going to get a car that my ex had given that was one of mine. And I said, he can't like give you my things, and whatever. And we had already been acquaintances through this other person. And well, anyway, long story short, decided to do something I never thought I would do. And at this time, my kids were um, not in the house at the time of the first time that I ever slept with Doug. This will tell you the mindset of me going into this relationship, and I'll tell you why I did that. So hang on. There's a lot more to it, but I'm just going to kind of try and cover the whole thing quickly without being too rude or whatever, to give you a little understanding of my mode of attack. I told him that I was transgender after while we were still in the bed. And the look on his face was so flipping priceless. I saw the spark of hatred. I saw it. But I made it very clear that I knew who he was and that he was indebted to me and everybody else. And I was going to make sure the world knew all this, and I wasn't going to give up. And no, I was not going to let him out of my sights at all. Now, I understand. Somebody said, well, I have to be careful of his words, and he's powerful. I'm fully aware of that. But now think back to what I just got through telling you, and why would I tell him that? And then I started laughing, and I said, was that just true, or am I actually a mother, and do my kids look like me? I thought it was super hilarious. I did, for various reasons, because a lot of people know that the person they call Jesus is a G Diddy, like P Diddy. If you study into all religions, you're going to find out they're all satanic. What do you think? Satan runs this world and everything isn't a reflection of who he is? Nothing's been unscathed. Not one area of our lives isn't touched by that dark force in that way. In the meantime, through all the turmoil of my children's lives, they became people that I no longer recognize. No matter what I did, the help I tried to get for them, um, everything, everything. They were already um, twisted. So what more could I do than to try and attack the, oh, it's a system that conditions little people, and we're all affected by it one way or another. Now, this morning, Doug came in my room and asked me if I had heard about all those big church leaders. There was like 9 of them, all of them in Texas, that had gotten jailed for diddling little kids or whatever, that type of thing. And people still really do not believe that it's a ritualistic, systematic spell casting situation as a Christian that you're a part of. You are perpetuating that. I'm trying to teach people the Spirit of God and the Christ Spirit that works in people. Without this, that people will not get this through your head. It's in the scriptures. Christ cannot be found in the church. Jesus calls the church his bride. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Why is that? G Diddy to the rescue. And just turn the other cheek, people. Don't stick up for yourself. Teach your children to be passive under extreme situations. That's just what we don't want to do. No more. No more of this. This needs to be brought out into the light. You're you'll never lose God. Never. You'll just find out why this world is in turmoil like it is because of all the cover-ups. I'm telling you, we are at the time of life in on this planet that the G Diddies are, or J Diddies are cannibalizing themselves. what they did in the past, they think isn't going to catch up with them. And that's just not how it is. Sure, there's people that could make it so I didn't exist in a heartbeat, but, and they've tried. Oh, yeah. I just found out with the help of the Spirit of God within myself that there was nothing they could say and do to me to stop me. And that's what I decided to do. And I did several things. If you think that first day was bad, that's just a part of the story, just a part of my, um, they play the long game, so to speak. They know when we're born and watch us all the time in the ether. Only thing is, they didn't know I had the ability to watch them back. Or at least maybe they didn't care. Either way, I knew it was a reality. I knew who was messing with me and my kids. So, I cannot commit murder. It's just not in me. But for people that have hurt children, I really, I would personally do something if I ever saw something like that. I might go full cannibal and chew their artery out of their neck. If I saw something like that, there isn't nothing I wouldn't do at that moment. I'm absolutely certain of it. And the people that knew things that had happened to me and never protected me, I had a little bit of a rough morning after that. But I know that there's millions of people out here on this planet that have been through these things, these conditioning tactics that the dark cabal uses against us, and we have to band together. We have to make it known so people aren't afraid to have the love of God and the respect that they should have, minus these people that say they're scholars and don't know the truth of everything, the resurrecting bloodlines, um, some that are vampiric, you know. I guess pick your vampire, you know. What type? Is it emotional? Is it actually blood libel? Like some of those that we've heard of, you know. Hard to envision, but it's appears to be a reality on this planet. Just think of aborted baby fetal cells and Lay's potato chips, I mean, or Doritos. I mean, that these things, just that alone, or Pepsi or a Coke, you know. I can name several products that you'd probably barf if you thought about it while you were eating them, and you should, because the disease cholera from consuming human meat, that's a real thing. What are they doing to us, and why? Making us eat our own children? That's in the Talmud. Do we think that's funny? along with their little, if it the rabbi's penis fits into this tiny vagina, it's acceptable. Those types of things that they see as acceptable. Or like in even your King James, where God tells people that they're allowed to have slaves. And you don't think these teachings have been twisted in a dark craft way? I knew the truth at 15. I learned it in the Blue Lodge. They taught me on purpose because they knew who I was before I did. They know everybody. That's why you have a number. Um, I still had a life to live. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I didn't have any allies. I didn't like now. I have people out there that understand what I'm saying. Like when I was 17, when I first went out to Montana, I'm talking to people. Started really talking to people in my life about these different things, and nobody knew what I was talking about. I'm certain they thought I was totally crazy. They didn't view me as intelligent at all. They just really thought I was flipping out, you know? Some of them knew. Well, the ones that are associated with the craft, of course, they knew. But just your typical person or a friend of mine, I'd talk about these different things and they just didn't get it. I always felt like I had to take back the church and try and make my own of what real Christianity is, because what everybody else is doing is not what it is and not what it was started for. I told you it was a church started out of sorrow, waiting for the resurrection of our Father and the Son. And that's already happened. That was why that church and those rituals, which are just desecrated and unnecessary. There's nothing, none of those rituals, none of those hymns, and anything else that they're doing besides putting you in a lower vibration so you cannot and will not hear and feel the truth for yourself if you're still in that mindset. So that is why I am where I am. I didn't I didn't have a choice. Anybody can be used. What would you do? Would you find that person with the biggest voice and try and do something about it for yourself if nobody else was there and you didn't have anybody else but you to count on? Just you and God, that's it, within yourself, and that's all you had. You didn't have any family. You didn't have any friends with a backbone or any intelligence. You just was you and him. What do you do? You would do whatever it took to protect the next generations. Mm. I've gotten injured. I've had all kinds of things happen to me, but they can't take me out. And that is a scary thing to them, believe it or not. And as powerful as a magi's words can be, when I step up, when I'm pissed, it cowers. So don't worry about the words that can be used against me. Just hope I have a good day no matter where I'm at. That's the best I can hope for. This morning on Facebook, I saw the biggest lie, and it did piss me off. I'm going to read it to you. It's about Pocahontas, which actually isn't her given name. But oh, this pissed me off. I had to point it out as the lie that it was because it is. Um, and told them they needed to fact check it too. But let's see, it's coming up here. It was one of the first, it was the second meme I saw this morning, which was pretty disgusting. It says, and then you have to click on it. It's one of these memes that they want you to click on, and then you get onto another page, and I don't know what they think they're doing. They kind of like jack you around, and I've had uh, Windows pull up and tell me that, oh, like this site is, you can't access it and different things. So I don't know what they really think they're doing, but this pissed me off. You can look over on my Facebook. It's about 15 memes down. And this woman does look like me because that's my Algonquin blood. The real life Pocahontas has a very tragic life. At just 17, she was given to John Rolfe. During the long journey back to England, tensions ran high among John's crew. In a disturbing decision, he allowed his men to tie Pocahontas up and then let them, and it says see more. I put, you can see here, you can see more here. I copied this lie. This isn't her real name, and she was 12, a child, taken to another country. Her remains are still there. So, any concern for lies and why? I have other pictures of her in England, some with her native clothes she made, others like this with colonial style garb. What they do to us in our own country, fact check that, pedos. She was 12. The people of her community said she was out helping them uh, learn the vegetation and learning the trees that would help them warm themselves or for cooking the different things. And yeah, they tied her up and kidnapped her, but she was not 17. And if you look at this woman's picture at 17, and some of you on my Facebook page knew me when I was 17, you know there isn't 100 men that could, without a gun or poison, you couldn't, 100 of them couldn't have took on my wildness. They'd still have trouble today doing that. So you aren't telling me that that blood I come from could have been touched at 17 years old. No, she was 12. Even at 12, people were afraid of me. So you aren't going to tell me that she was 17 and they tied her up. No, that's a lie. It's all a lie, and that's not even her real name. I can't recall it right offhand. It does start with a T. It's something like Tahakala. I think that actually is it. So yeah, these fucking liars, they'll fact check you or I on there. We can share some medical information or something, and they they'll block it. Huh. Don't forget to turn your clocks from sunshine and happiness to chores in the dark this weekend. Yeah, it's so unnecessary. But if you know that the calendrical system was changed to hide the phoenix phenomenon resets that happen on our planet because people will not be honest people, and there's a set clock of major destruction through the world every 138 years. I think it's the dark star also is like 736 years. There's two weapons in the sky that are directed towards the dark energy on this planet that hurt people. And this next one coming up in 2042 or 2042 is going to be like something they've never seen before. That's a fact. So, pedophiles rule this world. It's a fact. And they think it's funny. They think they've gotten away with it for the things that they did thousands of years ago, but they haven't. And this long plan that some of us have been a part of for a very long time is coming together, and we're uniting against them. Something they thought they'd never see. They thought they had us confined or drugged or stupid or whatever. And our sense of being that warrior for goodness is shining through. And we're helping each other in a lot of ways. So, especially the emotional ties, making new friends and having that understanding of the betterment of the world for everybody. You know, I met some really amazing people this last half a year that really get where I'm coming from. Maybe not every step of it. They may not understand, like even that first day I slept with Doug. Why did I say that? Why? See, it's very clear to me the destruction one man will have towards other ones, or even the destruction of a young woman in one sense or another, typically and usually misplaced sexuality or a bad look or whatever it is. It's crafts that this dark cabal uses against people. You have no idea how strong I actually am. And it's not like things don't hurt me, but, you know, people got to do what they got to do. And I just don't do what other people do. I'm different like that. I'm made for this. It's not pleasant. And I do believe my existence, it was meant for all this. If people understand, if you could see, even within the gay community, why for the outcome of We'll just call it Beelzebub or Ball. If he could understand the why of it all and the end gate of the whole teaching. And it's like, okay, you got a kid and it doesn't want to leave home. Sometimes you have to take steps and measures to, if the kid doesn't want to learn from being self-assured and learn confidence from its parent, and it thinks it knows everything, it's going down the wrong road. Sometimes you just got to let this adult being walk down that road by itself. Then a few thousand years pass and mom and dad are looking at it like, yep, it's time to step in here and do some damage control. And that's what's going on. So basically kick the kid out of the house and teaching it how to become human because it thought it was more human than human. And it thought it actually had supernatural powers when it's nothing but smoke and mirrors and lies. It's all these fuckers can do. It's like somebody that would slip you a Mickey, or poison you, or things that I have had happen to me. That's all they can do is use tricks on you. They don't have actual magic. They can't create anything. All they do is destroy. What I'm telling you, every bit of what I'm telling you is the truth. So I'm going to get this uploaded. If you're new here, thank you so much for listening. I hope I just make the best friends in the world through my YouTube channel, and I hope that you will share my information no matter how you share it. Maybe it's going to hit home with somebody. Maybe you're going to have a deeper understanding of how hard I've actually worked to lift the world up and to help open their eyes. I've been on the internet for a long time. The first computer I used was in 1970. But yeah, I'm an old timer out here. So, like, big time in force in the 90s, easily. And still in the 70s, I think like 79, I lived with the first in-home computer in Minneapolis coming out of the U of M into my house where I lived with some masterminds. So I've been around and had the opportunity to communicate worldwide for a long time. So, and I've done some damage control along the way with the Masons, the Jesuits, the Catholic Church, Jewish community, and a lot more. Mormons, everybody. So anyway, um, like I say, I appreciate you joining me. I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.